Hello everybody, and welcome to Blackrock Mountain. We're on the heroic boss number 2.
Blackrock Mountain, a Hearthstone adventure.
Okay, so this time we're going to go through the second heroic boss, which is pretty cool. I actually beat this one on my second try. I recorded me without doing the audio beforehand because I wasn't sure on what turn I would actually get this done. But as you can see, I got a Frost Nova, an Ice Lance, and an Ice Block. And this is the deck structure. So basically, this deck is just a freeze mage. So if you can just make sure that you can endure until later game, and then there's lots of different ways that you can kill it. So for example, you've got the Doomsayers, so you can use the Frost Nova to be able to wipe out all this stuff. Because this guy's ability, it's not really a hero power or anything, but well, his hero power is to churn out for no mana a 1/1 taunt, which can be really annoying. But the thing is with that is if he fills his board up with that, then your board wipes like your Flame Strike and Blizzard are going to be really helpful because it can take it all out in one swipe kind of thing. And the hero power of the mage is very helpful as well because you can just get rid of it straight away. But that's 2 mana less than you can use for anything else. So if you can just keep on freezing them with the Frost Novas, then it really does help because then you don't take as much damage. And if you can freeze them all and chuck down the Doomsayer, as I was mentioning before, then you wipe out his entire board. Now bear in mind at some point he is going to play Deathwing. Which we will see very shortly later on in the video. Okay, so as you can see in hand, I've got my my Frost Nova, my Ice Lance, Ice Block, which is very important to have 2 of them, and Doomsayers. We've got two Doomsayers, but we've got 1 in hand. And what I really like about this one is that he goes through and gives a little demonstration, a little speech about each thing. This skeleton in a dress. I really like it. It's really fun. But when you're doing it over and over again, it gets a bit boring because it's just like delaying kind of thing. But there's the jeering crowd ability thing that he's got. It's very strong. But we gladly top decked a Blizzard, which is going to be very helpful. You got to bear in mind that, well, I said before there are lots of ways that you can win this with this deck. So you can either do it by taking control through him using Deathwing and taking out all of his hand and all the minions on board, considering you won't have many minions anyway, because it's spell based. But if he does use that, then obviously you can take it out with spells or your Archmage Antonidas, stuff like that. But also at some point he is going to use a thingamabibble, whatever he's called. The 2/4/4 that makes your spells 0. I can't remember what he's bloody called. But he will make all your spells 0. So there you go, Millhouse Mana Storm. Sorry, my mind went blank then. So if he brings up Millhouse Mana Storm and you have Archmage Antonidas on the board, you've got infinite fireballs and you have 1 just like that. Unless obviously he uses the Cho to be able to copy your Ice Block, which I think is what he does next turn. So here I did with the Doomsayer, I froze them all, I did my Ice Block, took out his entire board. That's a full board of stuff. Now that Illidan would have been a real problem, as well as the Millhouse. But he has a full board, meaning that he couldn't have been able to, put down anything else big. So him filling up his board with 1/1s is pretty good. At least until you can, start to deal a lot of damage. Now you can probably see there, I was thinking and considering about using the old Slingamabooble. God, I'm so bad with names. But I was thinking about doing it because then I would have got another Doomsayer in hand, which would have been pretty good. But it's a lot better with a bigger minion. So later on, I used an Alexstrasza to take his health down to 15, and from then onwards, it was just a priest because he had the Deathwing down. As you can see, he has Flame Leviathan, which would have buggered him up more than it would have buggered you up because of all those 1/1 taunts anyway. So he's kind of screwing himself over with it.
Make some noise for Karen Bloodhoof.
So I used my my polymorph on Ken. Now whether or not that was a good idea, I don't know, because I didn't have a polymorph for Deathwing later on. But there are 2 polymorphs in the deck. So if you get another polymorph, but the idea is just to hold them off until later on, and then you can start just taking them all out, just start dealing a load of damage. Especially when you've got Alex Straza down, take his health down to 15, and then you can just batter away at him. It's pretty good, and you've got that mirror entity as well. So if you plop down a mirror entity, which I haven't got in hand at the moment, but mirror entity would be pretty good, because he's going to start putting down the bigger things later game. And it is very good, very helpful. And there you go, there's Deathwing, here he comes.
Dwarves, the one, the only, Deathwing!
And he discarded a lot of cards then. Good God, that was a lot of cards. Fortunately, I top decked the Fireball. Okay, so that's going to be very helpful later on, you'll see why. But I used the mirror image to be able to put him off for a turn. Then you can get rid of the 1/1, and then he's got to take out both of those 2 guys.
To you, all the way from the mission after this one, it's Emperor Thorazar.
I love that so much, it's so good.
Power of Ragnarok.
Okay. So from this point onwards, it's pretty good, because if you look, I just top decked. I'll get into that. I thought somebody else was coming up. Doomsayer. Doomsayer's pretty awesome, and Mirror Image is pretty awesome as well. But yeah, there's many different ways around this. So if you could have frozen him and put down Archmage Antonidas whilst he had Millhouse out, or on the turn after he put down Millhouse, then you could obviously do infinite bloody fireballs, and it would have killed him that way. And that would have been pretty freaking awesome. So that Doomsayer wiped him out, cleared his board of Deathwing, which was very much needed, really. Took his health down to 15 with Alex Straza, and here comes Alakir. Now, the bosses work in a way where they take him out from the minion on your left, and they work to the right, and sometimes they don't actually play it right, like then. So he's attacking face once, triggering my ice barrier, so I got extra armor, and then he attacks my Alex Straza, which took out the divine shield. The sense in that is ridiculous, so just bear in mind he's going to make lots of mistakes. Okay, so the Flame Strike was, I was kind of flippant between Blizzard and Flame Strike, and that was purely because, do I want to save the Flame Strike just in case it brings out more stuff? I was trying to think of value and be a bit more greedy, but Flame Strike is better here, because then you can Flame Strike, ping that, do 8 damage to face, and then next turn, well, the turn after, you would have threatened lethal, because he's got the ice block from me, remember? Boom! So you do, Alex Straza is very much needed, because it's an ice mage, frost mage, freeze mage, whatever you want to call it, Jesus! Here goes Sneeds. Unfortunately, what do I top deck now? Let's have a look. We're suddenly a polymorph. Just take that out straight away. Mirror Image down. Ping the taunt. And then another 8 damage to face. Now whatever he put down now, it buggered him over, and he put down Gruul, which is amazing for me. So I get myself a Gruul, and I've also got a Blizzard in hand to be able to freeze the guys on his side of the board.
Thank you.
Nobody can survive against all these.
Oh, it was amazing. But it can be pretty easy. So I didn't record this with my audio because this was the second time I tried playing with this deck against this guy. And this guy, he's pretty tricky, and it really does depend on what cards you get. There you go. That's the easy way to do it. And now because we've got the Frostbolt in hand, we have lethal next turn, which was pretty freaking awesome. He hasn't got a way of regaining his... Oh, whoops, out of time. Nozdormu. He does look really good. And he's a dragon as well, so he's going to be... I reckon he'll pop up more in the new meta stuff with all the dragons. But, hey-ho, we got lethal. There you go. That was awesome. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found this helpful. And I hope that you can get through this as well. the third and last one will be coming very shortly. And we'll be live on Twitch later on. I know I mentioned it at the start of the first one. I don't know, but never mind. I've enjoyed this. See you later, guys. Bye!
Wobble, 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 wobble.
Wobble, 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 wobble.
Oh, wobble.